Hey everyone, welcome back to Edu Expert, your smart learning hub. Today, we are going to talk about one of the most legendary airplanes in aviation history, the Boeing 747. In the history of aviation, few aircraft have captured the imagination of the world as much as the Boeing 747, famously nicknamed the Queen of the Skies. This iconic jet revolutionized air travel when it first took to the skies in 1969. Becoming not only the largest commercial passenger plane of its time but also a symbol of progress, innovation, and global connectivity. With its distinctive hump on the upper deck, the 747 introduced a design that immediately set it apart from all other airplanes. More than just a technical achievement, it became a cultural icon, recognized even by people who had little knowledge of aviation. The Boeing 747 was the first true jumbo jet, capable of carrying hundreds of passengers across vast distances without refueling. Before its arrival, long-distance air travel was expensive and limited to a select few. The introduction of the 747 changed everything by making international flights more accessible and affordable to the general public. Suddenly, crossing oceans was no longer a luxury for the elite but an experience that millions of ordinary travelers could enjoy. Over the decades, the Boeing 747 became the flagship aircraft for major airlines around the world, from Pan Am and British Airways to Lufthansa and Singapore Airlines. It wasn't just used for passenger service, it also played an important role in cargo transport, military applications, and even as Air Force One, the U.S. President's official aircraft. For many travelers, their first experience of intercontinental flight was aboard the 747. And to this day, it holds a special place in the hearts of aviation enthusiasts. More than just a machine, the Boeing 747 represents ambition, elegance, and the golden age of air travel, earning its timeless title as the true queen of the skies. The story of the Boeing 747 begins in the 1960s, at a time when air travel was rapidly expanding, and airlines around the world were demanding a larger, faster, and more economical aircraft to carry more passengers across long distances. Pan American World Airways, famously known as Pan Am, approached Boeing with a bold request to design an airplane that could carry twice as many passengers as existing jets. This challenge led to the birth of the legendary Boeing 747. Under the leadership of Chief Engineer Joe Sutter, Boeing began the ambitious project in 1965. It was a massive risk for the company, as building such a large aircraft required new facilities, new technology, and an entirely new approach to aviation engineering. In fact, the production facility for the 747, located in Everett, Washington, had to be specially built, the largest building in the world by volume at that time. The prototype of the Boeing 747, nicknamed the City of Everett, was rolled out in September 1968, and it amazed the world with its sheer size and distinctive hump-shaped upper deck. On February 9, 1969, the 747 made its first flight, proving that Boeing's gamble had paid off. A year later, in January 1970, Pan Am operated the first commercial flight of the 747 from New York to London, marking the beginning of a new era in global air travel. Suddenly, transatlantic flights became more affordable, and millions of people who had once dreamed of flying overseas could now make that dream a reality. The Boeing 747 didn't just change aviation, it democratized it, opening the skies to the masses and solidifying its place in history as the true pioneer of long-haul air travel. The Boeing 747 is not just an aircraft, it is an engineering masterpiece whose design and features set new benchmarks in aviation history. At the time of its introduction in 1969, no one had ever seen a commercial airplane of such size and capacity. One of the most distinctive aspects of the 747 is its iconic hump-shaped upper deck, which instantly makes it recognizable even from a distance. This upper deck was originally designed as a lounge area for first-class passengers, creating a sense of luxury that no other aircraft could match. Later, many airlines transformed this space into additional seating or business-class cabins, but the hump remained the 747's trademark identity. In terms of size, the Boeing 747 was a true giant. Depending on the model, it could stretch over 231 feet in length, with a wingspan of nearly 196 feet. The aircraft's massive size allowed it to carry between 366 to more than 500 passengers in a typical 3-class seating arrangement, and even up to 600 passengers in all economy layouts. This enormous capacity earned it the nickname, Jumbo Jet. The 747 also had a range of approximately 8,000 miles, 12,800 kilometers, enabling it to connect cities across oceans without the need for frequent refueling stops. For airlines, this meant fewer stops, more efficient routes, and the ability to serve long-haul destinations that were previously difficult to reach. Another revolutionary feature was its 4 high-powered turbofan engines, mounted under its massive wings. These engines gave the 747 incredible thrust and reliability, making it one of the safest and most trusted aircraft of its era. Its cruising speed averaged around 570 miles per hour, 920 kilometers per hour, at an altitude of 35,000 feet, which was fast enough to make intercontinental travel quicker and smoother than ever before. The interior of the Boeing 747 was also groundbreaking. Passengers were treated to spacious cabins, wide aisles, and multiple seating classes that included economy, business, and first class. In its early years, airlines even included cocktail lounges, piano bars, and upper-deck lounges to make flying a glamorous experience. For economy passengers, the wider cabin meant more seating space compared to earlier jets, while premium passengers enjoyed unparalleled luxury. Cargo versatility was another strength of the 747. With its strong structure and large fuselage, Boeing created freighter versions that could carry enormous loads. The distinctive nose of the 747 could be hinged upward, allowing oversized cargo, such as machinery, vehicles, or even aircraft parts, to be loaded directly into the aircraft. This made the 747 indispensable not just for passenger airlines, but also for logistics companies around the globe. The 747's combination of innovative design, massive capacity, long range, and versatility ensured its legendary status in aviation. Whether transporting ordinary travelers, luxury passengers, or heavy cargo, the 747 proved it could do it all with unmatched efficiency. Its features not only redefined air travel in the 1970s but also laid the foundation for the future of long-haul aviation, cementing its reputation as the true queen of the skies. One of the reasons the Boeing 747 remained relevant for more than 5 decades was its ability to evolve through multiple variants, each designed to meet the changing needs of airlines, cargo operators, and even governments. The very first model, the 747-100, entered service in 1970 with Pan Am. It was revolutionary for its time, capable of carrying more than 350 passengers, but its range was limited compared to later models. Airlines quickly realized that the aircraft had the potential for longer routes, which led to the next step in its evolution. The 747-200 was introduced in 1971, and it came with more powerful engines, greater fuel capacity, and the ability to fly longer distances. This variant was widely adopted by international airlines and became the workhorse of long-haul travel during the 1970s and 1980s. The 747-200 was produced in several versions, including passenger, cargo, and a special, combi, version that carried both passengers and freight on the main deck, making it highly versatile. By the 1980s, airlines were demanding even more seating capacity, which resulted in the 747-300. This version featured an extended upper deck, allowing more passengers to be accommodated. The stretched upper deck design gave the aircraft a new, elongated profile and made it instantly recognizable. Though it was not as widely produced as other models, it marked an important step in the 747's journey. The most successful and iconic version was the 747-400, introduced in 1989. This aircraft became the backbone of long-haul aviation for decades. It included state-of-the-art technology such as a modernized glass cockpit, which reduced the number of required flight crew from 3 to 2, saving costs and increasing efficiency. The 747-400 also featured winglets, improved engines, and an extended range of nearly 8,000 nautical miles, enabling non-stop flights between almost any 2 major cities in the world. For many travelers, the 747-400 became the face of international travel, operating with nearly every major airline, from British Airways to Singapore Airlines. In the 2000s, Boeing unveiled the 747-8, the latest and largest version of the jumbo jet. The 747-8 was stretched even further, making it the longest passenger aircraft in the world. It came in two main variants: the 747-8 Intercontinental passenger version and the 747-8 Freighter cargo version. Equipped with new generation engines and advanced aerodynamics borrowed from the Boeing 787 Dreamliner, the 747-8 offered greater fuel efficiency and lower emissions. While fewer airlines adopted the passenger version due to competition from twin-engine jets like the 777 and Airbus A350, the freighter variant became a favorite in the cargo industry. Beyond these main versions, the 747 was also adapted for special roles. The U.S. President's aircraft, Air Force One, is based on the 747-200 and later the 747-8. NASA even used a modified 747, known as the shuttle carrier aircraft, to transport space shuttles. These adaptations proved the 747's versatility and unmatched legacy. Through its many variants, the Boeing 747 not only adapted to technological change but also symbolized the constant evolution of aviation. Each model carried forward the spirit of the original while pushing the boundaries of what an aircraft could achieve. The Boeing 747's true legacy was cemented not just in its design, but in how it transformed the operations of airlines around the globe. When Pan American World Airways (Pan Am) launched the first commercial flight of the 747 from New York to London in January 1970, it marked the beginning of a new era in passenger travel. The ability to carry more than 400 people across the Atlantic in a single flight changed the economics of aviation forever. Suddenly, airlines could offer cheaper tickets while still maintaining profitability, and this democratized long-distance travel in ways the world had never experienced before. Soon after Pan Am's historic launch, other major airlines rushed to add the 747 to their fleets. British Airways, Lufthansa, Singapore Airlines, Qantas, Japan Airlines, and United Airlines became some of the biggest operators of the aircraft. For decades, the 747 became the flagship jet for these carriers, representing prestige and power. Airports around the world began adjusting their infrastructure, runways, terminals, and jet bridges, to accommodate the jumbo jet. The sight of a 747 parked at the gate became synonymous with international travel. The 747 was especially beloved by airlines serving long-haul routes. British Airways, for example, used it extensively for flights between London and North America, while Qantas used it for its famous kangaroo route between Australia and Europe. Singapore Airlines built its global reputation around luxury 747 service, offering unique experiences like sky suites and upper-deck lounges. Lufthansa and Japan Airlines also relied heavily on the 747 to connect continents, turning it into a workhorse for intercontinental travel. The versatility of the 747 was another reason for its success with airlines. Not only could it carry a large number of passengers, but its cargo variants allowed airlines to diversify operations. Some carriers operated combi versions that transported passengers in the front and freight in the rear, maximizing efficiency. During the golden age of aviation, the upper deck of the 747 even became a status symbol, with many airlines turning it into exclusive lounges or business-class cabins. Passengers often described the experience of climbing the spiral staircase to the upper deck as magical, something that no other aircraft could replicate. Over time, as newer aircraft like the Boeing 777 and Airbus A350 entered service, many airlines began to phase out their 747 fleets due to cost and efficiency concerns. However, for decades, the 747 remained the pride of numerous airlines, carrying billions of passengers across oceans. Even today, some airlines such as Lufthansa and Korean Air still operate the latest 747-8 variant, keeping the Queen alive in passenger service. For many travelers, their first international journey was aboard a 747, and for airlines, operating the jumbo jet was a matter of prestige. The aircraft didn't just carry people, it carried dreams, connecting families, cultures, and economies in a way no other jet had ever done before. This lasting impact is why the Boeing 747 remains one of the most iconic symbols in the history of airlines and global aviation. The Boeing 747 was not only a revolutionary passenger aircraft but also became one of the most iconic freighters in aviation history. From the very beginning, Boeing realized that the jumbo jet could serve a dual purpose, carrying hundreds of passengers or transporting massive amounts of cargo across the globe. One of the design features that made the 747 perfect for freight operations was its unique raised cockpit, which created a distinctive hump at the front of the aircraft. This allowed engineers to install a large nose door that could swing open, making it possible to load oversized cargo that would never fit into a conventional airplane. Items like cars, industrial machinery, satellites, and even small airplanes could be loaded directly into the main deck of a 747 freighter. Over the decades, different versions of the Boeing 747 were converted into freighters. Airlines such as Lufthansa Cargo, Cargolux, Atlas Air, and Korean Air Cargo made the jumbo jet a backbone of their global operations. These aircraft could carry over 100 tons of cargo in a single flight, connecting continents and enabling international trade on an unprecedented scale. During the 1980s and 1990s, the Boeing 747 freighter became the symbol of globalization, ensuring that products from Asia could reach Europe and America in record time. The U.S. military and NASA also found the 747 extremely useful for special cargo missions. For example, NASA used a modified 747 to transport the Space Shuttle on its back, an image that became iconic in aviation history. Similarly, DHL, UPS, and FedEx adopted the aircraft for express deliveries, with the 747 handling everything from electronics and consumer goods to humanitarian aid and emergency medical supplies. The modern Boeing 747-8 freighter, introduced in the 21st century, further pushed the boundaries of cargo aviation. With a longer fuselage, more fuel-efficient engines, and the ability to carry even more payload, it became the preferred choice for logistics companies that required speed, capacity, and reliability. Even today, when passenger airlines are moving toward newer twin-engine models like the Boeing 777X or Airbus A350, the 747 remains dominant in the cargo world because of its sheer size and versatility. In short, while millions of people around the world remember the Boeing 747 as the aircraft that made long-distance travel affordable, it also earned a legendary reputation as the "Queen of the Skies" in the cargo industry. Whether flying passengers or freight, the Boeing 747 proved itself to be one of the most versatile and important aircraft in aviation history.